Hi there, Karen here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just creating a layout today using branding strips. I've been collecting them for a while and I thought it'd be nice to create a page using some branding strips. I found a photograph that went well with a lot of the colours in the strips that I've got. But before I started laying them down, I thought I'd create a bit of a painted background for my photograph. So I've mixing these two colours of acrylic together, a bright pink and white. Wanted to create a sort of paint swatch background, just a simple painting effect really. It's just painting across the page, and it should not only connect the two lots of branding strips. As you can see, I've drawn a line diagonally across the page, so that's where the branding strips are going to be laid. But I thought it would also make a nice background for this photograph, which has got quite a lot of sort of spring colours in it. My mum's wearing a pale pink and blue top, and my daughter, who's laying on her shoulder in this photograph. This is a very old photograph from 1988, and it's just them having some fun in the garden. I think it's probably their old garden from many years ago, as you can see. And so I just wanted to create a paint background for the photograph, and I'm just doing a few layers as well, just to lift it off the page a little bit and away from the background. So there's a sort of fairly white layer first. It's that cross paper that doesn't really have a lot of colour coming through. Then there's some bit of vellum, and finally there's a pink background, which will then just tie in with all the other colours. Pink, I think, is the overriding colour of this layout, or that's the sort of starting colour, and everything else goes from it. So, and it's all going to be pastel-y, ice creamy colours that I'm choosing for the branding strips, which you'll see very shortly. I'm just cutting this down to size, this pink paper, going from one trimming tool to another, from the Caterpillar crop to my little Fiskars trimmer, which I use generally for small things. It's just that much easier for small things that need trimming. And I've put a doily behind it. Now I'm laying it on there thinking, well, yeah, that works quite well. I rather like that paint effect, even though it's not as evenly one coloured as I hoped, and it is a bit darker than I originally intended. I actually really like the way it's worked out. There's sort of that kind of effect of different colours of pink coming through there. So I've taken that, and that's all dried, and now I'm just going through my branding strips that I've just got a pile of them there. And I'm going to start with that one, which is going to be my central one, and all the colours really that I'm using are in that stripe, so all the others are just going to tone in with that. There's sort of pale yellows and minty greens, a little bit of lilac, and some pinks, obviously lots of pink. So I'm just going to lay them down, going across the corner, starting from that middle line across the middle, diagonally across from one corner to the other, and then just laying them down one after the other, going across to gradually getting smaller and smaller until I've got a nice design across there, a sort of diagonal design, which I'm just laying them out, and then I shall stick them all down and trim them so that they will look a bit neater than they do at the moment. But as you'll see, I won't make you watch me sticking them all down. I'm just going to lay them there, and then the next thing you know, they're all done, and then the top corner's done as well. And the next thing I'm going to use is this glass beads in a sort of texture paste, and it's got little tiny beads in it that sort of just catch the light. And although it's not very, it's not very sparkly, but it just gives it a little bit of sparkle and lift, catches the light. And I just thought it was rather appropriate for this page to have this with the heart. I think it's a Heidi Swapp mask. It's got 3 different designs on it, which really it's really useful because you only need a little bit a lot of the time. So there's the hearts, and it's got stars, and it's got little tiny circles as well, and I use it quite a lot, and it just gives it that little bit of interest on either side of the photograph. I'm trying to keep the design pretty diagonal, not venturing out either side into those other opposite 2 corners. And I want to lift this photograph up from the page a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of separation from the paint, but not too much. The funky foam is just the right height to give it a little bit of lift without it looking like it's standing really proud of the page. And I like that. I think a lot of us have found that that's a better height to use than some of the for the foam strips or foam dots that you can buy, which are really thick sometimes. So there we are. That's more or less the pretty much the layout of the page with the banding strips either corner. And now I'm just edging round the banding strips rather than on the paper itself. I'm going round it with a little dotted line to look like a bit of faux stitching, and just finishing up there. And as you can see, I've been learning a few new techniques for my videos. I've had a tutorial from my daughter's partner, and he's shown me how to make these rather nice transitions during the editing process, so it doesn't look quite as jerky as my previous videos did. Hopefully I shall improve each time and learn new tricks. And so the next thing I'm doing here is just laying on some more of the beautiful sequins. There was such a big pack of sequins that came with the Take Me Away collection, and so I'm trying to use them at every opportunity because I do like a sequin, and I think they work really well on here with these colours. And I was just putting the colours matching, so it was fairly random. Where there's some yellow, I put some yellow sequins. Where there's a bit of pink, there's pink sequins, etc. And so they're just fairly randomly placed, but I think they just give it I just really like the effect that they give on the page. I think it really works with everything else. And now I'm trying out some of the die cuts. I picked some out to use, and I really like that Love is Gold, because it is a page that's just, it's got full of love for them. These two together, they had a lovely relationship. But the gold really didn't work on this page. I haven't got any other gold, and so although I kept fiddling about with it, it doesn't make it on the page. I chose to stick to the ice creamy colours that is elsewhere on the page, and I thought the die cuts needed to blend in with that as well. And I do keep changing my mind as to where these need to go, so I've left that aside for now. It does make it on the layout eventually, and chosen to use this Adorable from the Cute Girl collection, and I thought it just worked beautifully with all the rest of the colours, and the sentiment, it says it all really. And then I picked out a very small die cut that was in the ephemera pack, and I was just able to stamp my date on there, which is April 1988, and that will just slot in with the rest of the ephemera. And there we are. So just some tiny little stamps I had in my stash, and I was able to print that on there. Still playing around with that die cut. It doesn't go there, it makes it on eventually, so I'm going to stick that on. I've stuck a lot of things on which will eventually have to be removed when I change my mind and move everything around, but in the meantime I'm going ahead with my journaling. So I'm just going to do a few lines, just a very simple journaling. It pretty much speaks for itself. Mum and Jenny having fun in the garden together, having a lovely moment and laughing. That's what they did a lot of the time when they were together, had lots of fun. And I'm just adding that Jenny is 13 months here, just so that we know just exactly how old she is. And there we are. I've taken off all the die cuts that I'd stuck on and the title, and I'm starting again. I had placed them out earlier, which I'd forgotten and taken a photograph, so I'm just looking at that on my camera, and I thought, well, no, I will put those die cuts where I had planned to put them in the first place, because I like them there. So they're now being repositioned. The flowers have now been placed. The floral die cut has been placed in the top right hand of the photo, and then the other die cuts are just there on the bottom left. Keeps it all within the same diagonal space. And I was able to put one of those little buttons that came in the buttons are actually part of the Take Me Away collection as well. And then I needed to give having stuck it down once, I thought I'd better give the adorable puffy word some glue to help it stick down again, back where it was before, but this time with some slight change to the die cuts around it. So that's pretty much it. I still fiddle around with bit trying to see if 1 or 2 others will fit on there, but they don't. So thank you for joining me, and I hope if you like this this video, you will like and subscribe and join me again for my next video. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.